If you are over the age of 60, I need you to stop what you are doing and listen to this with your full attention. A landmark study highlighted in publications from institutions like the Sleep Foundation reveals a terrifying truth. Millions of seniors are unknowingly engaging in a single, nightly habit that is not just disturbing their sleep, but is actively causing what experts now fear is irreversible damage to the brain and body. We're not talking about a minor inconvenience. We're talking about a habit so pervasive, so seemingly harmless, that it has become a silent epidemic, setting off a health time bomb in the very sanctuary of your bedroom. This isn't just about feeling a little tired. Ignoring this warning could be silently accelerating the journey towards cognitive decline, dramatically increasing your risk of a life-altering fall, and systematically worsening chronic conditions like high blood pressure and diabetes. The most sinister part? This habit disguises itself as relaxation. It feels like winding down. But biochemically, it's a declaration of war on your body's restorative processes. And I have to warn you, the number one habit we're about to expose is something you or someone you love almost certainly did last night. I've seen its devastating effects firsthand. I remember my patient, we'll call her Martha, a vibrant, independent woman of 72. She started experiencing frightening memory lapses and a new, unsettling dizziness in the mornings. Her story, which we'll come back to, is a stark and powerful warning of how quickly this one habit can erode the foundations of a healthy life. This video is your urgent wake-up call. We are going to connect this habit directly to your deepest fears, the fear of losing your memory, the fear of falling and losing your mobility, the fear of becoming a burden. But I promise you, this is not about fear alone. It is about empowerment, because today I'm not just going to reveal the single greatest threat to your nightly restoration. I am going to give you the only fix that truly works. A powerful science-backed solution that can stop the damage and begin to reclaim the deep, healing sleep you so desperately need and deserve. Before we begin, please take a moment and let us know where you're watching from in the comments below. It's wonderful to know who we are connecting with across the country. Now, let's get started. Let's talk about the enemy in your bedroom. It's an enemy that glows, an enemy that whispers and beeps and promises connection and entertainment right up until the moment you close your eyes. The single most destructive habit for senior sleep, the one causing potentially irreversible damage, is the nightly ritual of using blue light-emitting screens, your television, your tablet, your smartphone, within the final 1 to 2 hours before you intend to sleep, often combined with a wildly inconsistent bedtime. It is a two-headed monster, the poison of the light and the chaos of an unreliable schedule. It seems so innocent, doesn't it? Catching up on the news, playing a game of solitaire on your tablet, scrolling through pictures of your grandchildren. These feel like modern comforts. But from a neurological and biological standpoint, they are silent saboteurs of your health. To understand the sheer scale of the damage, you have to understand what's supposed to happen in your brain when darkness falls. Think of your brain as having a master clock. This clock, located in a part of the brain called the hypothalamus, controls your 24-hour cycles, your circadian rhythms. It governs everything from your hunger to your energy levels to, most importantly, your sleep-wake cycle. The most powerful signal for this master clock is light. For hundreds of thousands of years, humanity rose with the sun and went to sleep with the darkness. Darkness was the non-negotiable signal for the brain to start producing a crucial hormone, melatonin. You've likely heard of it, maybe you've even taken it as a supplement. But the melatonin your own brain produces is infinitely more powerful and perfectly timed. It doesn't just make you drowsy, it's the conductor of the entire orchestra of nighttime restoration. It tells every cell in your body that it's time to switch from daytime work mode to nighttime repair mode. Here is the devastating problem. The specific type of blue wavelength light that pours out of your phone, your tablet, your computer, and your television screen is a biohacker. It is the most potent and direct signal to your brain's master clock that it is still daytime. It is, in effect, a biochemical lie. When your eyes are bathed in that blue light at 9, 10, or even 11 o'clock at night, you are screaming a single message to your brain: it's noon, stay awake, emergency, do not produce melatonin. Research from institutions like Harvard Medical School has shown that this blue light exposure at night can suppress melatonin secretion by a staggering amount, and for a prolonged period. It's like a switch. You are actively flipping the sleep switch to the off position, right at the moment your body needs it most. You are throwing a wrench into the gears of your internal clock, night after night after night. This brings me back to Martha. When she first came to me, she complained of a brain fog she couldn't shake. She was a meticulous planner, but she'd started forgetting appointments. She'd go to the grocery store and stand in the aisle, completely blanking on what she came for. She also mentioned feeling unsteady on her feet in the morning, a new and terrifying sensation for a woman who prided herself on her daily walks. During our consultation, I asked about her evening routine. "Oh, it's very relaxing," she told me. "My husband goes to bed early, so I stay up in the living room. I watch my favorite shows until about 11:30, and I play some games on my tablet to wind down. It's my me time." She thought she was relaxing, but what she was actually doing was performing a nightly neurological assault on herself. The intense, close-range blue light from her tablet, followed by the passive light from the TV, was systematically dismantling her ability to enter the deepest, most restorative stages of sleep. Her me time was silently eroding her memory and her stability. And this is where we must talk about the word irreversible. Why is this damage so much more than just feeling tired? Because of what is supposed to happen during that deep, melatonin-rich sleep. One of the most critical functions of deep sleep is cerebral cleansing. Imagine your brain as a bustling city. During the day, it generates metabolic waste, just like a city produces trash. One of these waste products is a protein called beta amyloid. If that name sounds familiar, it should. It's the protein that clumps together to form the infamous plaques found in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. During deep sleep, your brain activates a remarkable waste disposal system known as the glymphatic system. It's like a team of microscopic sanitation workers that flushes these toxic proteins out of the brain. But here's the catch. This system primarily works during the deepest stages of non-REM sleep. When your nightly blue light habit sabotages your melatonin and prevents you from entering that deep sleep, the cleanup crew never gets fully deployed. The trash starts to pile up. Night after night, a little more beta amyloid and other neurotoxins are left behind. This isn't a theory, it's a well-documented physiological process. Each night you spend scrolling on a phone or watching TV late at night is a vote for more junk in your brain. And while scientists are cautious, a growing body of evidence strongly suggests that this chronic accumulation contributes to long-term neurodegenerative damage. The brain fog, the memory slips. These aren't just signs of being tired, they are potential warning signs of a system under toxic overload. This is the silent, creeping path to what could become irreversible cognitive damage. Now, let's connect this to the very real, very immediate fear of falling. A fall for a senior is not a minor event. It can be the starting point of a rapid decline in independence. How does that screen in your hand connect to a broken hip? The link is terrifyingly direct. Poor quality sleep, fragmented by light exposure and a chaotic schedule, devastates your balance, your reaction time, and your muscle recovery. You might get 7 or 8 hours of what you think is sleep, but it's light, choppy, and unrefreshing. You wake up feeling groggy and off. Your brain's vestibular system, which governs balance, is not fully calibrated. Your neural pathways are not firing as quickly. Your muscles, which repair and strengthen themselves during deep sleep, are still fatigued. Take a moment to close your eyes and visualize this. You wake up after another night of channel surfing until midnight. You feel that familiar, dull grogginess. You swing your legs out of bed and stand up to go to the bathroom. For a split second, the room feels like it tilts. Your foot doesn't land quite where you expected it to. You stumble. Maybe you catch yourself on the nightstand, your heart pounding. Or maybe, this time, you don't. That moment of instability, that split-second delay in your body's reaction, that is the direct consequence of a brain and body that were robbed of their essential nightly repair. This was the dizziness Martha was experiencing. It wasn't some mysterious new illness. It was her body screaming for restorative sleep, a plea that was being drowned out by the glow of her tablet. Does this sound familiar to you? Be honest with yourself. Do you find yourself reaching for your phone or tablet as your last act before closing your eyes? Please let me know in the comments. It's so important to acknowledge this, because you are certainly not alone, and acknowledging the problem is the first step toward the solution. If you're finding this information valuable and urgent, please take a moment to tap that like button. It's a small click for you, but it tremendously helps our channel, Senior Wellness Advisor, reach more people who desperately need to hear this life-saving message. Beyond the brain and your balance, this habit wages a war on your entire body. Chronic sleep disruption is a massive stressor. It throws your hormonal systems into chaos. Your body, perceiving a state of emergency, pumps out more of the stress hormone cortisol. Over time, elevated cortisol can lead to high blood pressure, it can weaken your immune system, and it contributes to weight gain, particularly dangerous abdominal fat. It also wrecks your body's ability to manage blood sugar. The American Diabetes Association has long pointed to the link between poor sleep and insulin resistance. If you are a senior managing diabetes or pre-diabetes, your nightly screen time could be making your fight infinitely harder, actively working against your medications and dietary efforts. Each mouthful of food is a vote for struggle or for strength, and each hour of lost sleep is a vote for disease progression. It's a biochemical threat working in your kitchen and your bedroom, a partnership that accelerates aging from the inside out. I had another patient, let's call him Mark. Mark was a retired engineer, a man who believed in logic and data. He came to me because his wife was concerned about his increasing irritability and his blood pressure, which was creeping up despite his medication. Mark was adamant he was fine. He slept enough. When I dug into his routine, he was a classic case. He would stay up late on his computer, researching stocks or reading news from around the world. "I have to stay informed," he'd say. He viewed it as a productive use of his time. He dismissed the idea that his computer screen was the problem as New Age nonsense. What he failed to understand was the hard data behind it. His brain, deprived of melatonin and deep sleep, was keeping his sympathetic nervous system, his fight-or-flight response, on a low simmer all night long. His body wasn't resting, it was bracing. The result was elevated morning cortisol, increased inflammation, and stubborn high blood pressure. Mark's logic was being overridden by his biology. His habit wasn't informing him, it was inflaming him. So now you understand the enemy. It's not just trouble sleeping. It's a nightly habit of chaotic scheduling and toxic light exposure that is actively contributing to memory loss, increasing your risk of falls, and worsening chronic disease. It is the single most destructive, yet correctable force working against your health as you age. It is a health time bomb, and now it's time to defuse it. This is the most important part of our conversation today. This is where we turn from fear to empowerment. The solution is not to simply try harder to sleep. It's not about a pill. The only fix that truly works, that addresses the root cause of the problem, is to implement a strict, non-negotiable protocol I call the sleep reset ritual. This isn't just a collection of nice tips. This is a profound commitment to signaling to your body, in the most powerful way possible, that it is time for healing. It requires discipline, but the rewards, mental clarity, physical stability, and a deep sense of well-being are immeasurable. The absolute cornerstone of the sleep reset ritual, the one action that will give you 90% of the benefit, is the sacred sunset. This is my term for creating a 90-minute buffer zone before your intended bedtime that is completely, 100% free of blue light screens. No television, no computer, no tablet, no smartphone. For 90 minutes before your head hits the pillow, all glowing rectangles are off, and they are out of the room. Why 90 minutes? Scientific studies on melatonin suppression show that it can take that long for the brain to overcome the disruptive effects of blue light and begin its crucial hormone production in earnest. This 90-minute window is your sacred, protected time to allow the darkness signal to work its magic. I know what you're thinking. 90 minutes? What on earth will I do? This is where we rediscover the lost art of winding down. This is an opportunity, not a punishment. You can use this time to have a real, face-to-face conversation with your spouse or partner. You can listen to calming music or an audiobook. You can read a physical book or a magazine under a dim, warm-hued light, not a harsh, bright white light. You can do some gentle stretching, focusing on your breath. You can sit with a warm, caffeine-free cup of tea like chamomile, which has its own mild sedative properties. You can write in a journal, getting your worries for the next day out of your head and onto the page. You are replacing a habit that harms with a ritual that heals. You are telling your brain with profound intention, the day is over, the work is done, it is now time for rest. This isn't emptiness, it's a rich, calming space you are creating for your own well-being. The second, equally critical component of the ritual is the anchor. You must anchor your sleep-wake cycle to a rock-solid, consistent schedule. This means going to bed at the same time, and even more importantly, waking up at the same time every single day. Yes, even on weekends, even on holidays. For the senior brain, consistency is often more powerful than duration. Why? Because your master clock, your circadian rhythm, thrives on predictability. When it knows to expect sleep at 10:30 p.m. and wakefulness at 6:30 a.m. every single day, it becomes incredibly efficient. It begins the cascade of sleep-inducing hormones before your bedtime and the cascade of wakefulness hormones, like cortisol, just before your alarm. You start to wake up feeling refreshed and alert rather than being jolted out of a sleep stage you shouldn't have been in. This was the hardest part for Mark, the retired engineer. His life was unstructured. Some nights he'd be up until 1 a.m., others he'd fall asleep in his chair at 9 p.m. His wake-up time was just as chaotic. Getting him to commit to a 10:30 p.m. bedtime and a 6:30 a.m. wake-up call, 7 days a week, was a battle. For the first week, he hated it. He'd lie in bed feeling antsy, but he trusted the process. By the end of the second week, something amazing happened. He started feeling naturally drowsy around 10:15 p.m. He began waking up a few minutes before his alarm, feeling, in his words, clear. Within a month, combined with the sacred sunset rule, his afternoon irritability had vanished. His blood pressure readings at home were consistently lower than they had been in years. He had anchored his biology, and his body responded with gratitude. Next, we must create the environmental cocoon. Your bedroom must become a sanctuary for sleep and nothing else. This means it needs to be cool, dark, and quiet. The ideal temperature for sleep is surprisingly cool, typically between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, or around 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. A drop in core body temperature is another powerful signal for sleep. Invest in true blackout curtains. I don't mean room-darkening shades. I mean thick, heavy curtains that block every sliver of street light or morning sun. The darkness should be absolute. You should not be able to see your hand in front of your face. This level of darkness maximizes your brain's natural melatonin production. This also means removing or covering every single source of artificial light in the room, that tiny blue or red LED on your television, your charging phone, or your smoke detector. It's a photon torpedo aimed directly at your sleeping brain. Cover them with a tiny piece of black electrical tape. The goal is pristine, primal darkness. If you live in a noisy environment, a white noise machine can be a fantastic tool to block out sudden sleep-disturbing sounds. Finally, we support the ritual with the nutritional wind-down. What you eat and drink in the hours before bed matters immensely. Obviously, avoid caffeine for at least 6 to 8 hours before bed. And while many people think alcohol helps them sleep, it is a major sleep disruptor. It might make you feel drowsy initially, but it severely fragments the second half of the night's sleep, destroying the critical REM and deep sleep stages. Avoid large, heavy meals or sugary snacks close to bedtime, as they can cause indigestion and blood sugar spikes that interfere with sleep. Instead, if you need a small snack, choose something that supports sleep. A handful of walnuts or almonds provides magnesium, which can have a calming effect on the nervous system. A small glass of tart cherry juice is one of the few natural food sources of melatonin. A cup of chamomile or valerian root tea can help ease you into a relaxed state. Think of it as a gentle, nutritional lullaby for your body. This 4-part sleep reset ritual, the 90-minute sacred sunset, the anchor of a consistent schedule, the environmental cocoon of a cool, dark room, and the nutritional wind-down is your blueprint for taking back your nights. This is the fix. It is the only fix that addresses the root biological cause of the problem. It's not easy, because it requires breaking a deeply ingrained habit that our modern world constantly encourages. But it is within your power. Every single night is a new opportunity to make a different choice, a choice for clarity over fog, a choice for stability over fragility, a choice for vitality over fatigue, a choice for independence over dependence. It took about 3 weeks for Martha to fully commit to the sleep reset ritual. The first few nights of no tablet were, she admitted, excruciatingly boring, but she replaced it with an audiobook and a cup of herbal tea. She set her schedule. She bought blackout curtains. Around day 10, she called my office. "It's the strangest thing," she said, her voice brighter than I had heard it in months. "I woke up this morning, and the world just felt solid. The dizziness is gone." A month later, at her follow-up appointment, she reported her memory felt sharper, her mood was better, and she had more energy for her daily walks than she'd had in years. She hadn't needed a new pill or an expensive procedure. She needed to reclaim the darkness. She needed to honor her own biology. She diffused the time bomb herself. Her story, and Mark's story, can be your story. You have the power to do this. The damage caused by years of this habit might feel daunting, but the body has a miraculous capacity for healing when given the chance. You can start tonight. You can make the choice to honor the sunset, to anchor your schedule, and to give your brain the deep, restorative, cleansing sleep it is crying out for. I want you to leave a comment below and share one thing you are going to try from the sleep reset ritual tonight. Will it be putting the phone away, reading a book, making your room darker? Let's create a community of well-rested, empowered seniors right here in the comments. Your journey can inspire someone else to begin theirs. And please, if this message has resonated with you, share this video with a friend, a family member, or a neighbor who you know is struggling with their sleep. You could be giving them the gift of health. Don't forget to subscribe to Senior Wellness Advisor and click that notification bell. We are dedicated to bringing you the most urgent, practical, and life-changing health information, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Thank you for taking this time for your health. It is the most important investment you will ever make. Sleep well.